You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Good morning. Good afternoon. Hi.
Welcome to the Mushie Moment with myself and my awesome co-host, Reverend Cindy. We're live today on Tuesday, May 9th, 2023 on paceradio.net, CBG TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Boxcast, Roku, and Fire Stick. And I've been running late. Could you tell?
Yeah. We are definitely running late. We apologize. Today's show is about integration, and funny enough, we got lost in talking about how we're integrating.
And we should have been doing it on the show. Oh my.
Yeah.
Wow. So, what's up for today?
Well, today we have Ashley on. She is just, she's just popping in there now. She is in the back room. She was just wrapping up with somebody when we started, but she is here, so we'll bring her out in a minute. We are here to talk about Ashley. We had her on before we went to Ontario because she was our Cambo provider, and she took us through 3 days of Cambo. And we have been on talking about that ourselves, but now we have brought Ashley back on today to talk about integrating and after, which is,
yes.
I say, funny enough, we were doing that ahead of time. I got lost and ended up 5 minutes late, and we're so. And then the two of us were going after buttons at the same time. So he'd start it, I'd stop it, he'd put us in, I'd kick us out. It was crazy. But then we got it figured out, and we're having a good laugh.
Maybe I should leave things alone. So since we did the Cambo ceremony, and at the time we also did Rapé and we did Sananga, and then since we did that, we've been through the 420 event. We did Bufo. And we did a guided session with 5-MeO. I've also done a large mushroom journey.
And in between the Bufo and the pure molecule, I did a large mushroom journey.
That's right, yes. And we've been integrating a lot of the data that's come along. And today, I'm looking forward to Ashley being in here because she has the integration station, and with us doing our own integrating, it would be great to have her in here integrating.
She's dying laughing and back.
Bringing her in. Hi, Ash.
Hey, guys. I love you so much.
Oh, we love you too.
Oh, man.
Welcome back to the post Cambo show. Well, welcome back to the show for the post Cambo show. Yeah,
happy to be here. Honestly, it's like my jam. It's like the frog coming out of water. It's the transformation.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we danced with a frog. We danced with a toad. We danced with some mushrooms, and there's been a lot of information delivered, a lot of energy flowing, and a lot of integrating happening.
Yeah.
Give me some examples. Like, we know the medicine. Like, what's it been sharing? with you guys? Are you getting collective messages being on this journey together, do you find? Or, are you getting more individualized downloads through the journey, about your own individual healing? What's going on or what's been coming up?
Really, it's a combination of both.
Yeah, I'd have
But
to agree.
even with a lot of our individuals, because we talk, there's a lot of the energies and the form of delivery works for both of us in a lot of the sense. So it doesn't matter which one of us is talking about our journey. We're both actually getting stuff out of it.
And that's really been since we met, because when we first met a couple of years ago, we did that with your ayahuasca and my iboga journeys. We sat at the Amsterdam and talking, and even back then it was like, half a sentence and the other person was getting, I so get that. I can look at the goosebumps. And so, yeah, it's a common language thing, which I think is what makes it a shared experience, both going through the trip and then integrating afterwards. But in chatting, it is very obvious that we are in it for similar yet different reasons. And we definitely seem to, we get our own personal messages for sure.
And then when we get the other person's view of what that message might mean as well, because they'll give how that message would mean to them, which gives us an outside view of the message, which has really helped me.
Yeah.
I can't see outside the box. So having somebody else, suggesting, is there a possibility that, or to me, it means this, or I would see it this way, opens up other avenues of healing that you can't see on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get like an objective point of view, and there's also this mirroring effect too. I think when people are working together, like having a companion along these journeys, it's sometimes there's like these forms of telepathy even that starts coming through, more of those synchronicities. Have you guys experienced that? Because you're doing the show together too, so I was wondering how that evolves, just for myself.
No, it's I'm loving it actually. I find it it's a comfortable place to be. We find a comfort in the zone of knowing that each of us understands it. Even when we go to the deepest areas that we need to clean out and get light on, we're okay in the company of each other discussing it.
Yeah.
As far as telepathy, I don't know if we're there, but I know that Steve he astro projects, like he travels when he's sleeping. He's not really sleeping. He's out in the universe visiting friends, and being 4 hours ahead, I'll be running around my house doing whatever, and I swear that Steve is here visiting. And then there are times that I have complete conversations with him. Like if I feel that he's here, I'll close my eyes and have a complete conversation with him. And he's got no memory of it because he's sleeping, but his spirit is running around visiting friends. So we have that. And I'm lucky enough that I'm in tune enough to that realm that I can visit with him when he runs around that way.
Yeah.
And his dog.
Then I wake up and go, oh, I'm so tired. I just dragged myself out of bed. It was brutal. And then she's like, yeah, you were over here.
Yeah. Yeah. And his dog, his dog has actually picked up on that as well. Weirdly enough, his dog has visited me. I swear his dog has visited me.
Yeah, she does that sleep with her eyes open thing, and then she's off running all the time, but her eyes are wide open. She's sound asleep. I got to set up a camera and see if when I'm doing that, my eyes are wide open.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, then you'd know.
Oh.
Have you done more intentional dream work since having these kind of out-of-body dream experiences, Steve?
I haven't done anything I haven't done any journaling or writing down of anything in the last couple of years. I've just been experiencing. I used to, when I was younger, I used to astral travel, and I would journal about the stuff. When I would come back, I would dream and come back and write stuff down. I'm a man of a million deja vus.
Yeah.
So, as we, as I'm healing, I'm understanding that some of the weirdness that I criticized myself on, there's a lot of people out there that have that same kind of weirdness, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
But I'm not the first person to astral project. Bob Monroe wrote a book on it, I believe, before I'm even born. So.
Yeah, it's interesting what you say about deja vus as well, because a lot of people think like deja vu, that's in your dreams, something we still can't even explain yet. But in Native American teachings, they actually talk about deja vu being a sign that you're actually in the right time and in the right place for the right reasons. I always thought there was like some beauty in that, maybe even aligns with what Carl Jung talked about with synchronicities. And and when we find those like ways of simplifying things, adding a little bit of magic back into life, that's really the definition of integration right there. Bringing ceremony, bringing that magic to everyday life. Dream work, that is a great tool too, because that it's in our dreams that are so much like the DMT state, something that's so similar to mushrooms in the molecular form. So it's possibly even the same dimension. It's just like a different vehicle to get there. And then there's like DMT itself, which we can make in our own systems. But there's also these frogs that are toads that are out there. There's also plants that are out there. There are ways of, combining things, but we can make it too. Doing dream state work, that's a gift that you're so tapped into by the sounds of it. And maybe even possibility of getting to that master state by helping Cindy, because like Yogi Bhajan talked about, when you want to learn something, you have to read about it, or in your case, it was practice it. To understand something is to write about it. That's what you were doing in the journaling work. And then to master something, that's to teach it. And, maybe this is why Cindy's, tapping into this stuff in the real world right now, but maybe there's a way of getting it into the dream state too, because you guys are really doing some great work together already. But, that's like, this technology is just one example in the entire fractal universe of what can be done, what is possible. So sorry,
I'm just going to ask Cindy a question here.
Ask me.
Yeah. Was there a subtle hint that we should be journaling there?
Yeah, I would put that in a more subtle category than sledgehammer for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Steve is working hard at trying to pick up on subtle. He believes, he doesn't believe that he picks up on it very well. And I think the medicine has told him that he needs to pick up on it. So he's been working really hard at picking up on subtle and getting really good at it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I would be a good tester for that, because I do a lot of subtle things. I don't like to be too pushy, because I like to meet people more where they're at. I don't mind repeating myself. I have a child who's my tester for that. So, I really...
the medicine showed me I didn't hear suggestions until they were loud.
Yeah.
And sometimes they had to get extremely loud for me to hear them. So the quiet suggestions, I'm sure that I have a lot of friends and family that could never understand why I couldn't hear what they were saying. But I understand extreme. I don't understand subtle. It's never been a part of my life. It's something I'm trying to learn. And I'm going to do it just like all of my healing is going. In that moment when I think or notice, I'm going to grab it and ask.
Yeah.
Because part of what I'm doing with Cindy is I ask her if I catch one, okay, was that a sledgehammer? Was that subtle? Like, where I'm here, I need to know where that sits down here so I can start to build a gauge of understanding subtle.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what I provided there was like essentially a 3-step formula, but anybody who's listening to this, including yourselves, would be to, where are you at on that level? You've already done some of this journaling work, but that doesn't mean forget about it. It means like, yes, absolutely on a subtle level, I'm saying reintroduce this because this is your stairway. But because you're at that master level, or like you're at that beginning, this is part of the transformation with this medicine, is getting that level of mastery. The universe is inviting, it's saying it's right there. It's just up to you to, again, incorporate these steps in order to get there. Be, learning, and you are actively learning through experience. You're still accomplishing that. But then understanding, this is where the writing part comes in. So yes, be reincorporating it if you want to get to this next step, because you're invited. Whether or not you take the invitation, allow yourself that right is a different story. So it's all choices that for you guys to make, and that's why I'm settled, because there's so many listeners on different spectrums.
Yes, and I've realized that trauma can create a very wide range of spectrum in the listening department.
Yep.
Depending on how, when, where, and why, it changes a lot of patterns and changes everything about the way you view the world. So that includes the way you feel, the way you touch, the way you see, the way you hear, the way you speak. Wow.
So what were some of the loud messages that have been coming through lately?
I'll let you take it first.
Some of the loud messages?
Yeah, like let's start at the top. What's loudest?
Education for me. I am the toad more so than the frog. The toad is screaming at me. And I mean screaming everywhere I turn. I something about bufo or the molecule or the toad is popping up. I feel very strongly that education is, what I need to head towards. So I have decided to, I've applied for a bufo school down in Mexico, and I'm waiting to hear. They are still in the middle of their current course, so they won't even plan for the next one until they're done this. And I know somebody that's going through the current course, so I'll be able to watch the timeline. In the meantime, I feel that it's time to get some supporting courses to help me in my journey of being able to serve some medicine. So I am looking at, taking things like, sound healing or a breath work, holistic healing and life coaching, I think would be a phenomenal course to have. So I'm being, I'm getting plenty of signs to do that. I'm also getting signs that it's time to enjoy life, because I've not enjoyed life for the majority of my life. I've been hidden away in a closet underneath a pile of dirty clothes, literally trying to hide. So now I am getting signs that I need to go enjoy life. And one of the signs is, I had a Volkswagen, Westphalia put in front of me, and I bought it, and it's in BC. So now I have no choice to live out my childhood dream of driving a Volkswagen van cross country. And I'm unbelievably yeah. So it's, this is what I'm getting out of it. It is time to start enjoying life, because I haven't up until this point. And it's time, closet underneath a pile. It's time to learn how to serve others. I truly believe that the toad and the frog and the mushroom are my way to serve others. And I need to get the education and the knowledge, and part of that is, doing the medicine itself. I haven't done enough. Do you know what I mean? So education isn't just courses, it's taking the medicine and healing myself, because to help others heal, I have to help myself heal. So that's kind of where I feel that I'm that everything's just being thrown at me in that realm.
And you got to feel it to believe it, right? That's one of the reasons of the medicine and direct experience, because then it's real, because the only thing that is real is direct experience. And I think that that's really powerful.
Absolutely.
what's coming up here for integration work, it sounds like, are the three things of education, of being of service, and then also joy of life. And joy of life goes tandem with those as well, because it's like, this is the law of attraction, right? Healing is the secret, because if you're experiencing joy and playing every day, then you're gonna look back on life and say, I had a good life, I had fun. Whereas if you're like stressed out, always trying to get to those achievements, always doing the school, always doing the education, you know, always doing these hard journeys, or, you know, having life just throw stuff at you because you don't have a plan, you know, or because you want to play victim, that, you know, then you're looking back and being like, oh, well, that sucks. Where did all the time go? You know, so it is all choices. What I would share for anybody who's listening here and interested in education like this, and I'm just going to be specific to like Cindy's situation right now, but, you know, if anybody else is interested in other resources, we could hop on a clarity call for that too at some point. But Cindy, for you, what comes up is like both sound bowl healing and Bufo. That's all over at Silo Temple, and you know that already. You know, James is doing all those things. I also just interviewed the breathwork guy, who is Michael Stone. He studied in holotropic breathwork for like a very long time. He got introduced to breath work through Mama Ayahuasca, or grandmother Ayahuasca, DMT, when he was out in the Amazon. And he comes from a scientific background too, so adding not to spirit, he really is spirit science, and he went all in on breath work. He studied holotropic because it was close to psychedelic experience. Holotropic breath work was invented back when psychedelics first had to go underground, when Nixon, you know, did claim the war on drugs. So he studied in that, and then he invented what's called neurodynamic breath work. And you can get a free stuff through him on breathworkonline.com. You can also check out the interview we did on him, or with him. No. He also does Expanded States of Consciousness Summit, which is a great resource out there too. You guys can get recordings on that. There's training. So, you know, this is all like really important integration work, getting this education piece. You know, it would almost be like a trifecta, or that roadmap. These are your pillars of a bridge so that you have a strong foundation to walk into your future, you know, without, you know, a bunch of debris and shit like that, without it collapsing underneath you, you know, and then you fall into that pit, or the autobiography of 5 chapters all over again, you know, where you're repeating patterns. You know, you really have that strong foundation. So it sounds like, you know, one of your pillars here really is the education piece. Some other things you can check out is on my website, elementalgrowth.org. There's a free sample class for holistic health coach training, and it's the best in the world. You know, some ancient psychonauts like Dr. Andrew Weil, Deepak Chopra, these are the teachers at this school. It is world class. This is like the largest nutrition school in the world. So you get that health training, you get the certificate, they help you with your business. They actually helped me publish my first book, Be the Change. Nice. So, you know, it goes further. You know, they really care about their people. And, you know, it's like building an army, and that's the way that they're thinking about it. Yeah. So this is the, you know, it's all the people who didn't fit into this world. So now we're creating a new one, but, you know, not like the New World Order. This is like our order. This is, you know, for the people. You know,
it's really an older school world order that we're just kind of reviving.
Absolutely. It was all there. This is like the bread comes from our ancestors, and now we're recreating the recipe. You know, it was already there.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, we come to a wonderful moment to take a commercial break, and we can come back and we can talk about what the universe has been screaming at Steve.
Yes.
Yeah. So we are here live on paceradio.net, cbgtv.com, coming to you on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube.
Podcast, CBG TV. And we'll be right back after these ads. Are you clicking or am I clicking?
I'm clicking. I got the clicker. Okay.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more. We've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
PACE Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
Are you a cannabis content creator? Are you looking for a place to have your content seen? If you answer yes to both questions, then you need to check out cbgtv.com. CBGTV broadcasting to a worldwide audience. Find us at cbgtv.com.
Are you watching television on Roku, Fire, maybe an Apple TV or even Chromecast? If you are, then download the Boxcast app and search for CBGTV.
Did you know that the Pace Radio Network isn't just a radio network? That's right, because most, but not all of our programming is now done via video and is then podcasted at paceradio.net. So if you want to watch our programming, you'll find us on the Pace Radio Network's Facebook page, plus the show's own page, and you'll find us live on the network's YouTube channel. And don't forget, you can find it all, video and audio, at paceradio.net.
Legacy 420 have an awesome array of cannabis-infused beverages, from pop to Nature's Nectar's teas, all in amazing flavors. What a selection. We even have a delicious mango-infused juice, and let me tell you, it's delicious.
Everything is infused in-house, so we buy our syrup from, the same place where everybody else buys their syrup for their pop, and the infusion is done in the lab. It's all canned here, labeled here, produced 100% on Tyndonega.
We have two lines of drinks. One is called our Nature's Nectar. That was our original line that we came out with. And then we also have a line under the Red E brand. We have them in 10 milligrams, 30 milligram, and 60 milligram cans.
What a great selection for a get-together with friends or after a long day. Remember, if you want to wet your whistle with on-site lab-tested products, come see your trusted partner. Legacy 420 out on your road.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Yeah, but that's not going to last forever.
That's you. Welcome back.
Welcome back to the Mushie Moment, streaming live to you here at paceradio.net, cbgtv.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Boxcast, and on Roku and Fire Stick. That was me just kind of watching the show again.
Hey, look, it's a good show. I think I'll watch.
Yeah. I keep forgetting that I've got to talk now and then.
Yeah. So I guess it is your turn, Steve, to talk about or answer Ashley's question.
Yeah. Well, the loudest message that got repeated through every ceremony was observe. And I constantly asked the question, why? And I was told, you don't need to know. Why do you keep asking? It doesn't matter where you're trying to get to and how you're trying to heal. You need to observe, not ask why. But asking why because of my trauma patterns means I will try and help. I'll jump in, I'll do. And what I've learned is, it's funny because I've used these words on a friend of mine, and little did I know they were actually for me. I've been trying to help the dentist do the work in my mouth. So the medicine is busy working, and then I'm going, hey, hang on, I think I can give you a hand. And I'm getting in the way. And I'm just supposed to sit back, shut up and observe. And that's never been a place I've sat in my life. Maybe when I was a baby, I did a bit of observing there. But, by the time this yap started going, I was asking why. So the integration, the loudest message was observe, and then I've actually had to ask and discuss with people what that means, because every word has a definition, and what's your definition of it, right? You know, like observing. What I'm learning is to observe with less emotional attachment, because the CPTSD has programmed me to have excessive emotional attachment. And to get a clear picture, I need to observe from a clearer place. And the questioning and the asking get in the way of observing. So I'm learning and trying to integrate that part of the lesson. It also showed me I had no grasp of subtle, and it's been talking to me for a long time. And for some reason, until I get smoked in the head with the sledgehammer, I don't hear it. So I'm currently trying to learn the essence of subtle and subtle behavior. You know, Cindy laughed at me one day. I was talking to her, and I said, why can't people just say what they mean? Just say what's on the words, just speak them out. All you got to do is just say this. It's that simple. And she burst out laughing, and she said, oh, yeah. So the world should just change all their behaviors to go around how you think it should be, huh? And in that, I kind of realized, oh, I asked that question, why does the world talk like in subtle language? And I've learned that there's a whole language I didn't know existed.
Yeah, and this is also like this. This all makes total sense, and it all goes hand in hand too. Steve, you know, have you done any work on chakras before? Do you know those terms?
Yeah, I've danced through the realms lots, but I never. I'm knowledgeable about a lot of stuff, but there's very little of it that I practice.
Okay. That's honest. You're saying it. Okay. So when, like, a lot of the medicines that you've been working with are very heart opening. You're also a father, you know, you've been through some things at your age. I'm sure experienced love and grief and every other emotion within this time. And now what's happening is you're moving from me to the we, you know, and this is why universe is saying this is time for you to observe, because you're coming in to that throat chakra balance. Maybe, you know, up until recent, you were overactive. Maybe that's why the mouth problems with your teeth, things like that, because it's been overactive. So maybe that those areas have aged or have been overused. And now it's time to bring into balance. And also, I know you've been working with Sananga and Rapé, and this is all third eye medicine, right? You've been inviting, volunteering yourself to open up these chakras. What's in between your heart and your third eye is this throat chakra thing. What else is in between is the ears. That's before the third eye. That's before the crown as well. And so, you know, this really sucks to hear, I know, because I grew up with this phrase, but you have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Okay?
Oh, hi, Irene. Hi.
Yeah. It sucks to hear, you know, and it's the same with your eyes. You have 2 eyes and 1 mouth for a reason, but you actually have 3 eyes. And when we close this one, we actually open this one as well, you know, but this is the eye thing. And a lot of the time, we don't want to see things. And this is why if somebody in chakra work, one thing that we look for with people who are wearing glasses is, what is it in your life that was an illusion or that you didn't want to see? Because if you can track it back to that time, that often coincides with getting that prescription eyeglasses, or when you actually notice your vision going out, if you track it back even further. Sometimes it takes a while to get to that point, but you can oftentimes track that back, and this is where we can track that trauma, release it, and really open up our eyes or wherever the chakra damage is. For others, it's in different places. And I don't mean damage, I mean blockage. If you think about it like a dam, you know, sometimes there's fevers that come in, you know, and they'll dam things up. If we can clear it out, you know, allow them to, you know, still build, but without doing that, it's that could be good. Same with we talk a lot about ants or automatic negative thoughts when we're talking about the brain. Sometimes it's like that ant colony, and it can take over if you don't take care of it right away. You can also, like, if you want to do this naturally, it'd be like sprinkling cinnamon to detour the ants from getting into certain regions. You know, there's also cordyceps mushrooms where you can do your own zombie apocalypse. There are like definitely, there are some like real great tools here, but this is the work that you're doing. You're just literally moving from me to we, and this is why it's that observe, because it's no longer about what you want to say. It's no longer about how you want to see or hear or play with the world. It's about the world, you accepting the world for how it is, you know. And even this subtlety thing, somebody who's really listening, they would catch the subtlety. Somebody who just wants to hear something specific or is still coming from a me, then they're not going to pick up on that subtlety. So this is you moving it from that heart space and using it to essentially using your heart to heal that overactive throat chakra.
So that overactive speak before you think chakra.
Yeah, but this work is all going to bring all of that into alignment. That cleansing, like with the rapé, when you actually feel it, or that Sananga, when you actually feel that.
Because a couple of things that you were saying to Steve, I mean, I felt rang true for me, such as like what I just said, like that.
Hearing,
you know, yeah, like that here, like it's just like, oh, okay, so that's why I sometimes speak without. That makes sense, and you know, I'm going through like a losing my voice thing right now, but I've been really concentrating with the rapé and doing a lot of work. So, and then you talked about eyesight, and when did you start noticing your eyesight? And like, oh yeah, okay. So I'm sorry I broke into your conversation with Steve, but you know, you said some things that really rang true for me too.
That's what I meant. Like our journeys are similar, and the messages, and you know, they're reusable for both. And that's one of the reasons I love us being public about things, is because I'm sure they're usable for a lot more people than just us.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Some great places to get some like quick data on how these chakras work is if you just Google, it's a show called like Avatar for Kids, but it's called Chakras Explained in a Child's Television Show. And if you just YouTube that, it'll show up this like 5-minute clip that really brings you through the entire chakra system. And then if you want to get deeper, anybody who's listening or yourselves, just contact me. I'll get you those next steps. But I know for sure that I gave you guys some integration resources. So I don't
on the way.
You've been pretty busy, so you probably haven't gotten into them, but they're all there. You know, I gave you a lot that you guys can start working on right away to clear this out in your body, to help your body volunteer yourself essentially for this flow and alignment. But sometimes it takes a little inspiration to get there and to stay inspired to this work. So that video may help. Because once you have like a quick idea and you're like, oh yeah, that clicked, that makes sense, then you might stay inspired to get into some of those other resources I sent over.
Yeah.
I probably just didn't even hear that I had all those resources the first time.
Oh, I did it on the USB.
Yeah, that USB that we transfer to our computers, that's where all of that is.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've ordered the one of the 2 books that you told me I should order first. So when I get, you know, most of the way through that, I'll order the second one. And then I'll take them up to Steve and make him read them too. Go, okay, your homework now.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that you read, Cindy. You know, we've had a lot of grief in our family lately too, and that's a great tool, you know, for that first step of learning and understanding, is that reading step. My grandfather, he passed away at 98 years old, and I saw him right before he left, and he was frustrated, laying on his bed, like still good spirit, still had good humor, still able to talk, and his cognition and everything was there. He said he was uneasy of the fact that he was stuck watching television, couldn't no longer read. His eyesight literally wasn't working, but he was at that age. He read, you know, right up until then. But, you know, it's just really showing, you know, we really can keep our cognitive functions like right up until the end. And reading, I think, is one of those things that really helps us get there. It keeps us active. It keeps us engaged in life, in the lives of others, connected through truth, which is beautiful too.
Yeah. So for anybody watching, you have just witnessed some integration work that you would do with Ashley after you would work with her with Cambo. We went through Cambo. That was, gosh, when did we do that? It was March.
Yeah.
So it's been almost 2 months now. It's been about a month and a half. The integration work afterwards, and we've done other medicines since, but you know, even taking a look at that, the integration work afterwards is, I feel, is where actually the majority of the work happens. Myself, and I'm going to knock on wood when I say this, because I really like the medicine work I've done so far. There are hard parts that you go through. On day 3 of Cambo, man, that was pure hell. Like, why the frig would anybody pay anybody to do that to them? But I mean, like, I will again. I will do the medicine again, because the benefits that come out of it are just absolutely unbelievably beautiful. And really, when you take a look at the work that you do afterwards, like, I mean, really being sick for 15 minutes really wasn't that bad, you know? And I think of the work that I've done with iboga or psilocybin or DMT, either the 5-MeO or the bufo or the NN, you know, like when you're in there, you're doing hard work, but you also get amazing rewards with some of the visuals and the feelings of love. And you really doing the work that you have to do comes afterwards, when you have to interpret that and go back to your life and integrate what you've learned into your life and continue to honor the lessons that you were given. And that's the hard part. Like it's hard, like, you know, and it's so hard coming back to a life where everybody around me isn't where I am. They don't necessarily, like, they believe in psychedelics because they watch me, but will they, you know, they're not ready to take them or explore them as medicine for themselves. And I'm, you know, watching them make extremely unhealthy choices and, you know, trying to respect that that's their life and getting the weird looks from them and trying to still continue with my, you know, like when I'm at friends' place, like, I mean, I even find now that I'll pick up my joint and before I light it, I'll close my eyes for a second and put like the intention of love into it. And I don't even realize I'm doing it now, you know, and then when I open my eyes, they're all kind of looking at me going like, what the fuck are you doing?
Setting a new precedent. You know, this is the respect and reverence that I think it's all due. And, you know, you're just one of those people that is like ahead. You're one of the game changers. You already didn't fit into the world. You knew that, which is why you're here, which is why you had some of the traumas you did. But now you're at that point of that mastery on this level. You know, there's all of these other layers. You'll be at the point of other things. So Finn plays this ninja game on my phone. It's so freaking cute. Like, the graphics are great. And you have to train this ninja on a trampoline and punching bag and all that stuff. And it's a clumsy ninja. So it falls all over the place. And you have to get it stronger. You have to have your patience with it. And it does take time. But it's super cute. And there's this, the master every once in a while comes in and gives you a reward and says, like, you've hit mastery. You're not as clumsy anymore. You know, and this is what we're going through. But it's mastery on all these different levels. This is the area where you're teaching. You're teaching people to have respect and reverence for these plants through action. You're unleashing the witch inside of yourself. You know, it's beautiful. Like the goddess is coming out of you. And you like, it's visible. Who cares what people are judging? It's like your confidence is going to set the precedent of whether or not it's acceptable or not. So if you're self-conscious of it or being like, I still want to fit in, you know, then this world may stay the same. Do you really want that? No, someone who's at a heart-centered place that's in service is going to set the precedent. That means going in with more confidence and owning the goddess, owning, you know, being untamed and, you know, unapologetic, all these things that's in one of those books that I gave to you, Lisa Lister's book, Witch. It's on your book list, right?
Yes, it's one of the first ones that you gave me two to order, and it's one of the first two that, but I ordered the story one first about the bear. I've got that one coming in.
Touching Spirit Bear, that's one's for anger. Yeah, and those are great resources for everybody. You know, anybody who's, you know, where the trauma's around either being a bully or being bullied, you know, sometimes those are tandem too, or for anyone with anger, anyone who wants to align to like ancestral teachings, you know, stuff from indigenous, how indigenous would, you know, work in community to help, you know, a troubled member of society get through and, you know, adapt culture, you know, really find a place. And you can find this like through psychedelics too, and also psychosis and different mental health issues. You know, oftentimes these people would be considered leaders of their tribe, revered, and in our culture, they're considered locked away and medicated. You know, our culture very much is numbed. You know, literally there are pills out there to numb you. How much do you want to be numbed?
Well, like fentanyl takes away all pain. That's their claim. Takes away all pain. Yeah. Why is there a fentanyl crisis? There's a hell of a lot of people in pain.
Yeah. I was put on Seroquel to kill mental anguish. Because, like, I mean, it basically takes your personality away and turns you into a zombie. And you sleep for 20 hours a day. It's a terrible drug.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not as addictive as fentanyl.
In the recovery community.
No, but the pain can be addictive, you know, and that's why some people don't want help or that they're scared to get help. But then there's others like yourselves and many of the listeners here showing up and who are doing this work in their regular life, who are setting that new precedent of that you want to feel, and you're, you know, understanding that, you know, sometimes God breaks our heart over and over and over and over again so that it stays open, because that's the reward, that's the lesson, that's the truth. You know, that's like what all the rock stars have been saying. You know, all the great ones, you know, love is the answer.
Yeah, and then they just harden their heart right up. Oh.
Yeah, can we like...
My emotions only come out in my music.
Yeah.
Yes, Ozzy.
Wow. Yeah, feeling. That's part of that observing and subtle. If you observe and you start to learn subtle, it enables you to feel differently and feel more.
Yeah.
Those feelings weren't in an area that existed in my reality.
No, but now empathy will come in and things like that, which can hurt. You know, and maybe that block was there to not feel these kinds of things. This is why it's a challenge. You know, life very much is a game. It's just, you know, you could be the winner or you could be the loser. And if you want to you know, if you want it to be a fight all the time, then that's what you're going to get. But if you act, it's like Campbell, if you ask, can you just be gentle with me? It's going to be gentle with you. You know, if you like say, I want to go in, I want to do this deep cellular healing, cure all of my ancestral trauma, and I want it all right now, Campbell's going to be like, sure, let's see what you can handle. I said it anyway. But like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, you know, I'll give you what you can handle. Let's see what you can take.
Yeah.
Yeah, compassion was nothing. Like I always had compassion. I could harmonize with the subtlest of trauma frequencies, but that's the only place in my life that I understood subtle. Anywhere else it just didn't exist.
I have said this to Steve. One thing that I hope he doesn't lose as he gains the ability to see subtle is patience, because
I think he would gain patience.
Well, I would hope, like, that's what I'm hoping, because I watch him with with different people, and like they'll have comments about the medicine that he takes, or they'll something, right? And I'll sit there and I'll look at them and I'll go, right? And he just smiles right through it, and he's got incredible patience for everybody's opinion, everybody's judgment, and it's just absolutely beautiful. And it's one of the things I absolutely love about him. And I'm terrified for anybody that has that amount of patience, even, especially if they can't see subtle, that if you start picking up on it, that might start jading some of that. And that terrifies me, simply because his patience is just so incredibly beautiful and compassionate and healing, and all of those wonderful things. You know what I mean?
So as his friend, focus on that, not the fears. Yeah, acknowledge that those are fears, get them out of your system so that they're not there anymore, but then fill that place with like the love and admiration for those parts of him, so that more of that comes out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And even those parts, that you love so much and are admiring might be some of the reasons why you guys are connected at this time, is to even adapt some of that for yourself. I would honestly say that, the more he gets in touch, the more, Steve, you get in touch with this observer part of yourself, that the patience would transform and evolve even more so. One resource that comes to mind around this would be Michael Singer's book, The Untethered Soul, and you can get that on Audible. Have you heard of that?
I haven't.
Oh, great.
I have a digital version of it. Yeah.
That's great for observer.
I now have to cut us off. We are now sadly terribly at that time.
Oh.
Holy crap, really?
Yeah. Stick around after the show, please. Please, Ashley. We would love to chat with you a little bit longer.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Sadly, we are at that time. Obviously, we have only really hit the tip of the iceberg. We're definitely going to have Ashley back, or maybe you'll catch us over there for a continuation of this conversation on the Integration Station. You should definitely check out Ashley's show on Sundays. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Mushie Moment on paceradio.net and cbgtv.com, on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Boxcast.
Roku, and Firestick,
and elementalgrowth.org. You guys can
I can't stop. I have to do it.
Yeah,
I'm trying to observe, but
yeah. And elementalgrowth.org. You can catch a lot of information over there. Thank you so much for joining us today, Tuesday, May 9th, 2023.
Love you guys. Thank you.
Love you too. Are you going to hit the button, Steve?
Okay, I'll hit the button.